Hello, me here. Thank you so much for coming. As you know, it is history times. And this is Hever Castle. And there's nothing in frame to prove otherwise. So, yours truly, Anne Boleyn. It's short for Megan Boleyn. It's kind of a portmanteau name. Margaret, Meg, Anne, Meg Anne. It's really cute. It's different. It's unique. It's my name. As you know, King of England is a massive simp. So, I got sent home. It sucks here. It's fucking boring as shit. Nothing is happening. I can't even open the curtains right now. And it's not because you would see a 21st century skyline. It's a different reason that we don't need to get into. So he's been just like sexually harassing me basically for months. Hey, John, I'm so glad you're here in this castle of Hever, that's not a chapstick, which is definitely where we are. Prove otherwise from the background, you can't. At one point, my webcam was in frame. But, all right, I had to go home from court, where basically everything is. Back to this old-ass castle where everything is just... you can imagine. So I went home. I was like, no, I'm not putting up with this. My sister has 2 kids with you. What are you thinking? And, oh shit, did you hear that? That's a lion. Hang on a second. Yeah, that was one of Mary's kids. I just had to let him out. So basically, I was working for his wife, right? Our relationships. So I had to come home. I'm like in disgrace or whatever. It sucks. But even here, I cannot get away from this bitch, right? Thank you. What's also castly is my footstool, which has gone behind the chair. Got it. All the chairs are too tall for me because in history times, which is now, we were all quite a lot shorter. So I'm at home. It sucks. It's boring. This bitch is writing letters to me, okay? So I thought we'd read them. Because I don't give a shit about his privacy. Okay, so yesterday this one turns up, right? And bear in mind, this is from the fucking King of England. It's pathetic, right? On turning over in my mind the contents of your last letters, I have to write some shit to him. I've put myself into great agony, not knowing how to interpret them, whether to my disadvantage, as you show in some places, or to my advantage, as I understand them in some others. Dude's reading into it, but whatever. Beseeching you earnestly to let me know expressly your whole mind as to the love between us two. Yeah, I love my sister's ex. It is absolutely necessary for me to obtain this answer. Come the fuck on. Having been for above a whole year stricken with the dart of love. I mean, right? Right? And not yet sure whether I shall fail of finding a place in your heart and affection, which last point has prevented me for some time past from calling you my mistress. Yeah, that's not the only thing that's prevented this bitch from calling me his mistress. The other thing is that we don't fuck. And we're not going to. I know, right, Alex? He thinks arrows are called darts. Such a fucking moron. Do not tell him I said that. Anyone tells anybody I said that, we will not be friends anymore, and also we'll all probably get killed. Because if you only love me with an ordinary love, yeah, everyone loves him. I'm trying to like preemptively dump this bitch, but if you only love me with an ordinary love, that name is not suitable for you because it denotes a singular love, which is far from common. Yeah, the title of mistress is pretty common, actually. But, like, listen to this bit because this is fucked up. But if you please to do the office of a true loyal mistress and friend, and to give up yourself, body and heart, to me, he puts body first, who will be and have been your most loyal servant, if your rigor does not forbid me, I promise you that not only the name shall be given to you, but also that I will take you for my only mistress. He's not just the king, he's Prince Charming. Casting off all others besides you out of my thoughts and affections, and serve you only. Okay, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but in France, there's an actual government position called the maîtresse en titre, which is like the king's principal mistress. And I mean, it's a good gig. There's perks and salary and all this shit. But the nerve of this guy to be offering me, and we don't have that position in England. Everyone would be so grossed out by it. Only side hoe. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that would improve things with his wife if she knew that I was the only other one. Kings are only interested in one thing, and it's fucking disgusting. So right. I mean, like, I grew up in France at the French court. I saw all this shit. And it's fine over there because that's their culture. But, I mean, over here, you'd be the maîtresse en titre for a little while, and then, well, look at my sister. She got married to, like, some fucking guy. She's got nothing. She didn't get any jewelry. She didn't get shit. She got a ship named after her. Like a warship named the Mary Boleyn. I told her it was because it was full of semen, and she, like, did not laugh. I thought it was disgusting fucking. Well, I mean, I would never pass on anything that I may or may not have heard in that regard, but apparently it's not so much disgusting as boring. Do not tell anyone this or we will all be fucking executed. She did not get syphilis. Shut up. Hi, Evelyn. Thank you for coming to my castle of Hever, which is where we are. You can't prove we're not. So I'm reading this love letter. I know, right? It wasn't even her ship. He just wrote her name on it and was like, ta-da. So, Evelyn, I'm reading this letter from the King of England, right? And he's like, I don't really know if you love me or not. Because he can't take a hint. And he's just offered to make me his only mistress. Yeah. So I beseech you, he goes on, pathetically, to give an entire answer to this my rude letter. It's fucking rude if you ask me. That I may know on what and how far I may depend. Gross. And if it does not please you to answer me in writing, appoint some place where I may have it by word of mouth, and I will go thither with all my heart. No more for fear of tiring you. Written by the hand of him who would willingly remain yours, Henry Rex. I mean, there are so many things to love about this letter. The blaming me for giving mixed signals. Love that. Offering to quit fucking other women. amazing. I mean, apart from his wife, obviously. And no more for fear of tiring you. Yeah. Yeah, not a great correspondent, honestly. But, okay, so the other day, I get another letter, a really short one, which is, no, it is not fitting for a gentleman to take his lady in the place of a servant, yet, complying with your desire, I willingly grant it you, if thereby you can find yourself less uncomfortable in the place chosen by yourself than you have been in that which I gave you, thanking you cordially that you are pleased still to have some remembrance of me. Henry Rex. It's because I won't come back to court. Like, why? I'm not coming back. Ever. I had a good thing going. I was engaged. I was this close to being the Duchess of Northumberland. I could have ruled like the North, which would suck, but is better than, ruling nothing like Mary. And that got all fucked up. So I'm at court. There's tons of other hot guys. It's fine. They're not really dukes, but you get what you can get. And suddenly, none of the guys want to talk to me anymore because the fucking King of England is like hovering. So I have to be nice because, like, I'm at work, right? This is my job. And yeah, barons, counts, that kind of thing. Like, I'm just fucking. I have no title. I've got no name. Like, at least my mom's family are kind of. They're the Howards. So they're kind of a big deal. But my dad's family, they came from trade. Like, I think my granddad was like a merchant. He was like an alderman in London or something. Yeah, he's like always looking at me and playing like these songs on the lute, and I think he makes them up. They're so bad. But you have to clap like everybody does. And then there's his bitch wife, who was technically my actual boss, saying stuff under her breath in Spanish all the time. And it's like, lady, I am not asking for this. I want to get married and have some money, right? But you can't say it out loud, really. Oh, speaking of, do you like this? Yeah. It is a gift from His Royal Simpness, Henry VIII. He asked me if I wanted it to say A for Anne, and I was like, no, I want B for Boleyn. And he was like, oh, that's so beautiful that you love your family so much. Honestly, I'm keeping it for the next sister who he turns his eye to, but he totally didn't get it. He did not get that that was a savage burn. Probably because we don't have another sister. But it was intended that way. Anyway, I like it. I think the B can hang 3 pearls off it and the A could only hang 2. So it was a good choice, I think. So, that letter, I didn't write back. Like, at all. Every day, I would hang around this fucking boring ass castle. I'd go walking in the rose gardens where there are no hot guys to marry either. And I would just smile thinking about how I was not replying. And it felt good. Like, honestly, it felt good. Like, not replying isn't a crime. I could just tell him that I fell and forgot how to read. So he sends another letter. All right. Although my mistress, now he's calling me mistress, even though I said not to. I know, right? I would just picture him waiting every day and being like, no, nothing. Like, although my mistress, yeah, way to totally disrespect my Oh, that black thing that's just a bandage or poultice of some kind. That's definitely not a modern brassiere, because I don't know what that is. Although, my mistress, it has not pleased you to remember the promise you made me when I was last with you. That is, to hear good news from you. He means his offer for me to be his only side hoe. Yeah. And to have an answer to my last letter. Oh yeah, I left him on red for like a month. No. I was gonna just write back K, but it was a waste of parchment apparently. Yet it seems to me that it belongs to a true servant, seeing that otherwise he could know nothing, to inquire the health of his mistress, and to acquit myself of the duty of a true servant. I send you this letter. I mean, I know the word mistress means your girlfriend and like a woman that you serve, but he is not my servant, whatever kind of rhetoric he might use. He does not get any hints. I'm just like, I've tried telling him that he's like a sister to me. Well, I tried telling him he was like a brother to me because you can't really call the King of England a girl. He overreacts like crazy. Didn't take the brother hint either. He was just like, oh, ho, ho, you must be close with your brother. What is that about? That's so weird. I know. He is so presumptuous. It's like being King of England has kind of made him think that he can just tell anyone that he wants what to do. Yeah, I tried, but I really can't draw hands. I'm no Leonardo da Vinci, who I would know about, because historically speaking, we live in similar times. The times of now. So, to acquit myself of the duty of a true servant, you having left me on red, and you are so powerful, Anne. Doesn't say that. He says, I send you this letter, beseeching you to apprise me of your welfare. That's all he's concerned about, which I pray to God may continue as long as I desire mine own. And to cause you yet oftener to remember me. Oftener. Jesus, the greatest scholar in Christendom. I send you, by the bearer of this, a buck killed late last night by my own hand, hoping that when you eat of it you may think of the hunter. And thus, for want of room, I must end my letter. Written by the hand of your servant, who very often wishes for you instead of your brother, Henry Rex. I mean, I've been sent home to Hever. My brother George is still one of the king's like closest companions or whatever. I wish you health for as long as you. No, he said, Danny, he hopes that my welfare may continue as long as he desires his own welfare to continue, which is a lie. And I think you're way more accurate saying, I wish you health for as long as you are mine. But actually, that was some fucking great venison. It was really, really good. And I thought, like, I could probably write him back. It was a whole buck, and it was from the King of England. And it was just beautiful. It was fantastic. So yeah, George is still at court to like bring up my name casually in conversation. My family's got this really fucked up thing where they're like, just fuck him and get some money out of him. Like, Mary did the first one, she forgot to get the money, but luckily we have a second daughter. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. There is no amount of money I could get out of this bitch that would, make up for afterwards. I'll either be too old to find a decent husband, or no one will want to marry someone the king's been fucking for ages and we'll talk about in front of people. I'm looking to my long-term future. Like, where am I going to grow old, Yeah. So I did reply. I know. And he sent me a present, and it's so funny. I'm just going to read you the letter until it gets to the part about the present. Okay? It was jewelry. It was very expensive. And it was so Henry. It was fucked up. Like, I just laughed. Like, I was so glad I wasn't actually at court, because when I opened it, I just laughed and laughed. And I was like, oh my God. I'll read you the letter. Sorry. I'll read you the letter. My mistress and friend. Yeah, I tried to friend zone him once, and he just started calling me his friend. My mistress and friend, my heart and I surrender ourselves into your hands, beseeching you to hold us commended to your favour, and that by absence your affection to us may not be lessened. For it were a great pity to increase our pain, of which absence produces enough, and more than I could ever have thought could be felt. Look at this. I'm playing the tiniest little viol in the world. Oh, sorry. I heard there was sweating sickness somewhere here, but I don't think I have it. Oh, it was tackier than a bedazzled G-string, honestly. Just wait for it. Like, more pain than I thought ever could have been felt. Reminding us of a point in astronomy, which is this. He's trying to show off how smart he is. The longer the days are, the more distant is the sun, and nevertheless, the hotter. So is it with our love. Our love, his and mine. Guy's delusional. For by absence we are kept at a distance from one another, and yet it retains its fervour, at least on my side. I hope the like on yours, as assuring you that on my part the pain of absence is already too great for me. I sent him one nice thing back, like one nice letter being like, thanks for the venison. Hope you're well. I can't remember what I wrote, honestly. I know. It's not even his own. And I don't even understand how that's possible. I need to see an orrery or something to work it out. Anyway, forced to suffer intolerable pain. And when I think of the increase of that which I am forced to suffer, it would be almost intolerable, but for the firm hope I have of your unchangeable affection for me. And to remind you of this sometimes, and seeing that I cannot be personally present with you, I now send you the nearest thing I can to that, namely, my picture set in a bracelet, with the whole of the device, which you already know, wishing myself in their place, if it should please you. This from the hand of your loyal servant and friend, Henricus Rex, blah, 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 blah. Motherfucker sent me a picture of himself. Yeah, firm hope. I heard from Mary. I mean, I didn't. But if I had heard something from Mary, it might be that hope's the only thing that's firm. Do not say anything. Seriously, do not say anything. Yeah, I think I just wrote back Cherbro. So, oh my god, it was so funny. So I've got a picture of this motherfucker, and it's like, what does he mean that he wants to be in its place? It's on my wrist. Does he want to be wrapped around my wrist? I want you to wear me like a wristwatch. Sounds like dirty talk, but I don't understand what for. Yeah, obviously I don't know what a wristwatch is, but I think you mean that's like a bracelet. And I think it would probably mean putting my entire hand into the bottom of God's appointed King of England. Which I'm not, like, I'm really hoping it doesn't come to that. God, don't let it come to that. Yeah. Yeah, right. Oh, shit. So, okay, he gave me this expensive bracelet. It's got his picture in it. He's not letting up, right? So I was like, I have to send him something. But I didn't know what to send him because, yeah, I didn't know what to send him. So I sent him something ambiguous. I sent him this little like brooch thing, and it's got a picture of a ship at sea and this woman standing in the ship going like, and so he took it to mean that I was like, well, you know what? I'm just gonna put myself into your hands because I trust you. I'm just a girl on a ship at sea, and I just need guidance and help and you telling me what to do. Because of course he did. But I needed like some kind of image that he would interpret in a definitely in a positive way. It's not really how I meant it. How I meant it was like, I wish I could sail this bitch myself. But since I can't, I got to get paid. Oh, yeah, probably something about being wet. Oh, I'm going to have to remember to bring like rose oil or something to court when I go back. Because you know what's going to happen. So, I send him that. Yeah, I'd cross an ocean to get away from you. That's also a really good interpretation of it. But he interpreted it as he did. Your actual head, which is here, obviously, and not a camera. Because I don't know what that is. As far as I know, it just means a small room. So he writes back. For a present so beautiful that nothing could be more so, considering the whole of it, I thank you most cordially, not only on account of the fine diamond and the ship in which the solitary damsel is tossed about, but chiefly for the fine interpretation and the too humble submission which your goodness hath used towards me in this case. For I think it would be very difficult for me to find an occasion to deserve it, if I were not assisted by your great humanity and favour, which I have always sought to seek, and will seek to preserve by all the kindness in my power, in which my hope has placed its unchangeable intention, which says, aut illic, aut nolibi. If I can't be there, I want to be nowhere. Yeah, it was a little bit word salady. Basically, I kind of told him, you know what, you're going to do what you're going to do with me anyway. I'm going to get some cash. Because I realized it just wasn't going to stop and I could not get married. I couldn't make a decent marriage while the King of England's like, just like giving me the fucking dead-eyed shark stare from across the room. He's trying to try. He's seeking to sort. He's So from now on I'm gonna have to pretend to be very, very loving. But I did tell him that there was no way we would have sex. I was just like, no, that can't happen because, you know, he's attempting to attempt and I'm attempting to prevent. I'm just like, you know what? Because, okay, I probably shouldn't be telling you guys this, but you're not going to tell anybody. You know how the Queen's like super old and like her shit don't work no more? Like she used to have a uterus or whatever and she tried to put babies out of it and they all died, which is so sad. Like I'm not immune to feeling sad for her. But now she can't even have any more. They've got this one little girl who is kind of a bitch. I know it's so mean to say that about a little girl, but she gives me the same look her dad gives me, except her look is like evil intent, and his look is like, well, all guys. Hi, Josh. Yeah, a demon stole her ute, we think. I'm just filling in everybody about how I had to leave work because my boss was hitting on me in front of his wife, and now I'm at Hever Castle, as you can tell from my background, which is where we are in this time. Oh, yeah, I honestly don't know what's smaller, his hog or his brain. Do not repeat this, everybody. But, okay. So the queen's, like, super old. She's, like, 40 or something. She can't have babies no more. Her shit don't work. Demon took her uterus, whatever. So, Cardinal Wolsey, yeah, the same Cardinal Wolsey who totally broke up me and Harry Percy, who could have been Duke of, well, he is going to be Duke of Northumberland, and I am not going to be Duchess because of that bitch. Cardinal Wolsey, he's trying to get the king out of his marriage, right? I know, it's crazy. She's never going to do it. She's never going to do it. I've worked for her for a while now, and nah, you can't scare her. But anyway, Wolsey's doing his best. He's got no idea, like, what's going on, honestly. But my dad and my uncle, or my great uncle, the Duke of Norfolk, they came over and they were like, okay, we've read all the letters because you keep giving them to us and laughing. He's really serious about you. And they said it in front of Mary, which I could not fucking believe. I was just like, if I look at her, I'm either going to apologize or laugh, and then she'll laugh, and it just won't be good. Whoops. That's nothing. So my uncle goes, how much do you know about the king's grandfather? And I'm like, well, he was King Edward, right? From before all the wars and that, and Richard III and Bosworth Field and all that. Oh, no. A demon who stole Queen Catherine's uterus is trying to take my nose. Unbelievable. So, yeah, Edward IV, right? King's grandfather. I said, yeah, I know about him. I know that he existed. Tall guy. Used to try and fuck everything in a skirt. As my uncle, the Duke of Norfolk, goes, don't say fuck in front of the king or the queen. And I'm like, I'm 29. I don't. And then he goes, so King Edward was out one day and he met this woman, Elizabeth Woodville, and she wasn't even a virgin. She was a widow with 2 kids, little boys, right? And he wanted to fuck her because she was anything in a skirt, And she said that she was, shit, what did he say? She said, I am too good to be your mistress and not good enough to be your wife. I'm not worthy to be your wife, but I'm too good to be your mistress. And just sent him on his way. Which, if you ask me, is hilarious. But the thing is that King Edward came back and he married her secretly. And then there were wars, so like kings were on and off the throne all the time. And when he was back on the throne, he was like, I've got a secret queen. Here she is. Her name's Elizabeth Woodville, and they kind of lived happily ever after, apart from all the wars and people killing people and Richard III killing her sons and everything. That's what I'm told. And I thought I mean, I knew what he was getting at right away, because the Duke of Norfolk is not a subtle man. So I knew what he was getting at. And I said, okay. And don't. Yeah, they would chase after a deer if it had a skirt. Absolutely. Thank you for the blessings, you guys. They are really necessary because of this is history times, and we believe in Christianity and hell. So I said I would do it. Don't be mad. But what I'm hoping will happen is that I haven't said it to him yet. I haven't said anything to him yet. But what I'm hoping will happen is that he'll just leave me the fuck alone. But realistically, I don't think he will. So, this bitch, and by this bitch, I mean my uncle, the Duke of Norfolk, who is not a cuddly man, he's got me practicing saying, "Oh, Your Grace, we don't call him Your Majesty yet. This happens during Henry's reign at some point." Oh, how do I know that? I don't. He's got me practicing saying, "Your Grace," my curtsy. And he's like, "Bend low on your curtsy." And I'm like, I know. I am not worthy of being your wife. But I am too good to be your mistress. He likes it when I do it more subtly than that. He's got me practicing that all afternoon. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, the way the man eats. He came to Hever and he was like, he just annihilated our stores. I mean, it's a good thing he loves hunting so much because he burns it off pretty quickly. But if anything ever stopped him from hunting, well, God forbid. So yeah, right now I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place. My dad and my uncle think that they think there's an actual possibility of Henry being like his grandfather and going, "Yeah, I'll marry you." But he's got a wife. Even if he separates from her, her nephew's going to get all pissed off because he's the Holy Roman Emperor, and he's going to be like, "Oh, you can't divorce my aunt for some bitch." Oh yeah, rock in a flaccid place. Don't say that. I didn't hear it. You didn't say it. So yeah, it's basically where we're at now. So yeah, he's thanking me for the present. Sorry, I went on a really long derail about Edward the Fourth, but out Illic, out Nalibi. If I'm not with you, I want to be nowhere. The demonstrations of your affection are such, the beautiful mottos of the letter so cordially expressed, that they oblige me forever to honour, love, and serve you sincerely, beseeching you to continue in the same firm and constant purpose, assuring you that on my part I will surpass it rather than make it reciprocal, if loyalty of heart and a desire to please you can accomplish this. I beg also, if at any time before this I have in any way offended you, that you would give me the same absolution that you ask. I had to be like, "Sorry for not writing, here's the diamond," you know. I know, he likes to pretend. It's really annoying. The absolution that you ask, assuring you that henceforward my heart shall be dedicated to you alone. I wish my person was too. Yeah, he wishes his body could be dedicated to me as well. Lucky, lucky me. God can do it if he pleases, to whom I pray every day for that end, hoping that at length my prayers will be heard. His person, yeah. Jesus. He's like slyly alluding to Wolsey trying to get him out of his marriage. I think he thinks I don't know about it, like I don't listen to people. Written by the hand of that secretary, okay, listen, this is pathetic, who in heart, body, and will is your loyal and most assured servant, H.R. And then there's a little heart with A.B. inside it, and he's written autre de cherche. I searched for no other. I'm going to show you this. I put it in this little booklet. A.B. Look at that. Unbelievable. Yeah, my heart is yours alone, but I'm still married, but you won't let me hit it while I'm still married, so I wish my body was also yours. Hashtag simpking. Oh, I know, right? Like, there was a point where I thought it would kind of go away or it would fizzle out or something. I should have fucked him really early on. Just got it out of the way. But anyway, like at this point, I'm going to take a short break and get changed because looks like I'm going to be heading back to court to marry King Simp. Oh, he does. He writes love songs and then he makes you actually listen to them. Yeah, I mean, I had to shoot my shot. So, don't go anywhere. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Well, it'll be longer than that. Oh, thanks for waiting while I put on all these pearls. Oh my god, I'm going to be... I know. Oh, the only thing I couldn't find was my snood, but that's okay. I know where it is. Leave my hair long since I'm not married yet. Yet being the key word. Okay, I've got some big news. And it might not come as a surprise. I love that. Thank you. So I have kind of big news. You know that stuff that I was saying earlier about how the queen can't have babies because her shit don't work no more, and how you know, I was like, oh, yeah, he's gonna come in his codpiece. That's why he wears them. He empties them out at the end of the day, I think. Fucking gross. But we can't talk like that anymore, okay? Oh, he's amazing. He's Superman. He's like, he's better than Jesus. That's how we have to talk from now on, because he is definitely going to get this fucking divorce. It's going to be amazing. Oh my god. And he's going to marry me. Like, all that stuff I said about him is still true, but holy shit. Holy shit. It'll be interesting to see what kind of Spanish names my old boss calls me when I move into her bedroom. Okay, don't jinx it. Nobody jinx it. Okay. Here's another letter from the king who I love so much. I kind of have to be kept away from court so there isn't a scandal. So I'm still at Heather. But I know the Pope will. Yeah, I'll be the queen. I'll be the queen of that peen. I'll get some, sperm out of it, make a baby. It'll be a boy. And then it doesn't really matter how long he lives, which do not tell him I said that. Because then my son will look after me. Oh, it's going to be amazing. Hallelujah. But the Pope totally will sign off. Unless something horrible happens, like he gets captured by the armies of Queen Catherine's nephew, Charles the Holy Roman Emperor. But I don't see that happening. Thank you. I know. Life can never end horribly for me because I am in the middle of a fairy tale. It is a fairy tale with a lot of legal documents, though. They don't really mention those in Cinderella. Anyway, here's another letter that is not pathetic from the king, who is super strong and tall, and everyone thinks he's great. Wolsey's going to pull it off, because if he doesn't, he's fucking finished. Honestly, he talks down to the king, and I'm starting to see the king not like it. But yeah, so I'm still at Hever anyway. I can't really be at court. It's a bit awkward. Catherine's still there, and I can't really move my shit in just yet. I feel like my hood's a little bit crooked, but who gives a shit? I will have so many ladies waiting on me pretty soon. Okay, so he writes, "To my mistress." And he calls me that now in the sense that he serves me because he's going to make me queen. "Because the time seems very long since I heard concerning your health and you. The great affection I have for you has induced me to send you this bearer, to be better informed of your health and pleasure, and because, since my parting from you, I have been told that the opinion in which I left you is totally changed, and that you would not come to court. I told him I'd come to court. I told him I'd marry him and I'd come to court and everything. But then my dad was like, no, let him miss you a little bit longer. I've told the opinion in which I left you is totally changed, and that you would not come to court either with your mother if you could, kind of chaperone, or in any other manner. Which report, if true, I cannot sufficiently marvel at, because I am sure that I have since never done anything to offend you, and it seems a very poor return for the great love which I bear you, to keep me at a distance both from the speech and the person of the woman that I esteem most in the world. Yeah, that is why I'm still in Hever, to keep him away from the body of the woman he esteems so very much. Because if he fucks me, it's over. I know it's gross and it's like an overshare and it's TMI, but I can't let shit go wrong right now. Yeah, I don't want to flaunt it in front of the wife. I don't want anyone thinking I'm tacky like that. And I don't want King Perv trying to fill me up when we're going hunting, Like, there'll be time for that later, but later. I don't mind a good bargain, right? But it hasn't been made yet. And if you love me with as much affection as I hope you do, it's always putting the guilt on me. It's not very attractive. I am sure that the distance of our two persons would be a little irksome to you, though this does not belong so much to the mistress as to the servant. Oh, yeah. He's on a cunt hunt. Well, he's not finding mine until after the wedding, tell you that. See, he's still like guilting me so much. Like, oh, I miss you more than you miss me. And then I have to write, I miss you most. I miss you so much. I miss you like the pearls around my neck, which I will never miss because I'm going to keep them forever because they're amazing. I'm still really liking this necklace. I haven't changed the necklace. Consider well, my mistress, that absence from you grieves me sorely, hoping that it is not your will that it should be so. But if I knew for certain that you voluntarily desired it, I could do no other than mourn my ill fortune, and by degrees abate my great folly. See, I didn't tell you about this bit of the letter. This bit of the letter is Henry threatening me. Yep. He's so needy. He's threatening me right now that if I say, yeah, back off, he actually will. But I don't miss them because I have them right here. And unlike some people, I enjoy touching these. If I knew for certain you voluntarily desired to get away from me, which at one point I absolutely did, I'd be super, super sad. And then I would get over you. But like slowly, because I still think I have a shot. So you can imagine how I felt. I am under no illusions. This guy is not my servant. But I can see that being married is going to be a challenge. It's probably going to be a little bit stressful. And so for lack of time, I love how he makes it really, really obvious that I'm not a priority. So for lack of time, I make an end of this rude letter, beseeching you to give credence to this bearer in all that he will tell you from me. Yeah, there was some stuff he didn't want written down, and it was all filthy. Written by the hand of your entire servant, HR. He keeps wanting me to think about his entire body, and like, no thanks. So, Wolsey has been sent to Rome to talk to the Pope about the divorce. It's really exciting. Darling. He starts it with darling. I mean, to be fair to him, he hates writing letters. Like, he won't write anything in his own handwriting. But he writes these himself. And he doesn't have to. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he does have to get anything that he wants. So I think about my body, and I'm like, yeah, I'm already thinking about it and how much I'm going to have to drink in order to face it. He's not a bad-looking guy. He's just... It's just the neediness and the bullying that I'm not super into. But, you know, he does write his letters to me in his own handwriting. He didn't have to do that. Ugh, where are some ladies? Honestly. That's better. Oh, he is always sweaty. Because, like, we go hunting a lot. And I don't know what he eats. I know he takes a bunch of different remedies because he always thinks he's coming down with something. And sometimes in the sweat, it's just... Oh, yeah. He hasn't yet given me a portrait of his member, and I think it's because no one can paint that small. Shh, shh. Do not tell him I said that. I'll deny it. I'll deny everything. Anyway, he starts this one, darling. These shall be only to advertise you that this bearer and his fellow be dispatched with as many things as compass our matter. That's like our code for the divorce and the marrying me. Marrying me, Queen of fucking England. Our matter. And to bring it to pass as our wits could imagine or devise. Which brought to pass, as I trust, by their diligence, it shall be shortly. You and I shall have our desired end. My desired end is at the head, where the crown goes, and we all know where his desired end is. Which should be more to my heart's ease and more quietness to my mind than any other thing in the world, as, with God's grace, shortly I trust shall be proved, but not so soon as I would it were. Nothing happens as soon as he wants it to. Yet I will ensure you that there shall be no time lost that may be won, and further cannot be done, for ultra posse non est esse. It's not possible to do more than is possible. Oh, it's a seed potato. Oh, gross, you guys. It probably is, though. Mary says she kept her eyes shut most of the time. Like, he's not a bad-looking guy. It's just the attitude. He'll change. I'll change him. It'll be fine. Keep him not too long with you, the guy bringing this letter, but desire him for your sake to make the more speed. For the sooner we shall have word from him, the sooner shall our matter come to pass. And he wants me to put something in writing, give it to this messenger guy, so that the divorce, the secret divorce, can kind of go ahead. Bigger the swagger, the smaller the dagger. Yeah, have you seen dude's cod pieces? Enormous. There's no need for them. And everyone knows. Like, and thus upon trust of your short repair to London, yes, I'm going back to court, I make an end of my letter, my own sweetheart, written with the hand of him who desireth as much to be yours as you do to have him. H.R. I mean, there's no way that we both desireth to have each other in the same way, but I desireth very much to be married to him. Can you imagine? Okay, so the other day, we're skipping forward into... I know, right? I know. So the other day, I was at court. I was hanging out with the king, and I wanted to write a letter to Cardinal Wolsey because there's been a little bit of bad blood between us, just a little bit. Like when he wouldn't let me become Duchess of Northumberland. Guess what, bitch? He does not want me to be queen. It's hilarious. But he has to, because otherwise his political career is over. He really wants to be pope. I know. It's just so... So I had to write a letter to Wolsey, and here it is. It's so sarcastic. Oh my god. And he's going to know it's sarcastic, but Henry doesn't, because he thinks that I should, write a really sincere letter, mending some bridges. And so that's what he thinks it is. The guy's seriously a wizard. He can make anything he wants happen just by imagining it is that way. So anyway, this is me to Wolsey, right? My lord, not your eminence, because fuck him, in my most humblest wise that my heart can think, I desire you to pardon me that I am so bold to trouble you with my simple and rude writing, esteeming it to proceed from her that is much desirous to know that your grace does well, as I perceive by this bearer that you do, the which I pray God long to continue, as I am most bound to pray. For I do know the great pains and troubles that you have taken for me both day and night, against his will, is never likely to be recompensed on my part, but alonely in loving you, next unto the king's grace, above all creatures living. And I do not doubt but the daily proofs of my deeds shall manifestly declare and affirm my writing to be true, and I do trust you do think the same. I plan to be nice to him if he gets this divorce going. Or do I? Oh, by the way, Harry Percy, total alcoholic now. Yeah, he had a meltdown. He's like, fuck him for not standing up for me, honestly. My lord, I do assure you, I do long to hear from you news of the legate, the guy going to the Pope. For I do hope, as they come from you, they shall be very good. And I am sure you desire it as much as I. And more, and it were possible, as I know it is not. And thus remaining in a steadfast hope, I make an end of my letter, written with the hand of her that is most bound to be your humble servant, Anne Boleyn. And then I made Henry write a PS down the bottom. God, he hates writing. It's just the weirdest thing. Postscript by Henry VIII. The writer of this letter would not cease till she had caused me likewise to set my hand. He's saying I'm nagging already. Desiring you, though it be short, to take it in good part. He's trying to convince Wolsey that, we're all best friends, which is pretty easy for Henry because that's what he believes, because that's what he wants to believe. No one said marriage will be easy. I assure you that there is neither of us but greatly desireth to see you, and are joyous to hear that you have escaped this plague so well. He had the sweating sickness or whatever for a little bit. Trusting the fury thereof to be past, especially with them that keepeth good diet, as I trust you do. Another thing Henry does, he's always talking to you about medicines and natural remedies, and he makes his own. He's like a hypochondriac. It's really, it gets on my nerves. God, what's he going to do when I'm pregnant? I'll be keeping a good diet, whatever he thinks that is. The not hearing of the legate's arrival in France causeth us somewhat to muse. Notwithstanding, we trust by your diligence and vigilancy, with the assistance of Almighty God, shortly to be eased out of that trouble. Legate didn't get there fast enough. I was kind of like, I hope Wolsey's trying his best. And Henry was like, yeah, I hope Wolsey is trying his best. I know, I'm bad. No more to you at this time, but that I pray God send you as good health and prosperity as the writer would, by your loving sovereign and friend, Henry Rex. So, Woolsey knows what's what. Okay, a little bit after that, I got this wedding sickness. And I know that I got it because I laughed at Woolsey for getting this wedding sickness. You don't need to tell me about God teaching me a lesson. It sucked. Totally sucked. The tutors brought it over from like Flanders or some kind of dog shit place. No offense. And yeah. I know, I was sick as a fucking dog. Yeah, if he'd prayed harder, the shit would have failed faster. Yeah, probably. No, I was sick as a dog. I was so sick. Like with the sweat, you can be sick in the morning and then you're just dead by lunch. But luckily I wasn't. That was good. But he just like fucked off. He's terrified of illness. So he fucked off, left me alone. I had some really good doctors, really good care taken of me, but yeah, he kind of ran away. I love this man. I do. I love this man. And I don't think he's pathetic. That's my affirmation. Do not almost said that. So anyway, when I was sick, he wrote me letters a couple times. So he wrote, "There came to me suddenly in the night the most afflicting news that could have arrived. First, to hear of the sickness of my mistress, whom I esteem more than all the world, and whose health I desire as I do my own, so that I would gladly bear half of your illness to make you well. But he wouldn't sit with me, or be in the same county as me. The second, from the fear that I have of being still longer harassed by my enemy absence, much longer, who has hitherto given me all possible uneasiness, and as far as I can judge, is determined to spite me more, because I pray God to rid me of this troublesome tormentor." Yeah, absence from my sick bed isn't really my fault. I was pretty stationary the whole time. You know what? He's the king. His only legitimate heir is a little girl. He's kind of got to protect himself, but I felt like shit, honestly. The third, because the physician in whom I have most confidence is absent at the very time when he might do me the greatest pleasure. For I should hope by him and his means to obtain one of my chief joys on earth, that is, the care of my mistress. Yet for want of him I send you my second, and hope that he will soon make you well. Your second best doctor? Oh, what's the bet that Dr. Bartz is with him right now, keeping him from getting it? He's called Dr. Bartz, by the way. It's hilarious. I shall then love him more than ever. I beseech you to be guided by his advice in your illness. In so doing, I hope soon to see you again, which will be to me a greater comfort than all the precious jewels in the world. Well, I've never had all the precious jewels in the world, so I'm not going to start comparing now. Written by that secretary who is and forever will be your loyal and most assured servant, H parentheses AB R. Oh, he wants me inside him. So I mean, yeah, it was nice of him to send me a doctor. It was, yeah, no, that's what I heard though, that in 500 years people still won't know what sweating sickness exactly is. And I thought that was an odd thing for anyone to say to me. Yeah, I'm told there's a lot of fisting. Don't know how I'm going to get pregnant from that, but I know it's my duty to try. So, honestly, I was so sick. I thought I was going to die, and then I thought about everyone, like all the haters who would be so thrilled if I died. And I thought about all the hard work I'd been doing in, telling King Bitch that I was head over heels for him, the most wonderful man in the world. And I was like, no, fuck it. I'm going to live. So I did. But, touch and go. So he wrote me again saying, the uneasiness my doubts about your health gave me disturbed and alarmed me exceedingly. And I should not have had any quiet without hearing certain tidings. But now, since you have as yet felt nothing, I hope, and am assured that it will spare you as I hope it is doing with us. Did I get these two mixed up? I can't remember. I was so out of it. For when we were at Walton, 2 ushers, 2 valets de chambre, and your brother, Master Treasurer, fell ill, but are now quite well. And since we have returned to our house at Hunsdon, we have been perfectly well, and have not at present one sick person, God be praised. And I think if you would retire from Surrey, as we did, you would escape all danger. Oh yeah, this happened before I got sick. Why is this afterwards? Yeah. Yeah, I had to go back to fucking Eva. But I was so delirious, I didn't really know if I was there half the time. There is another thing that may comfort you, which is that in truth, in this distemper, few or no women have been taken ill. Yeah, well, that might have comforted me if I didn't get sick. And what is more, no person of our court and few elsewhere have died of it. Yeah, when he says person, he's talking about, like, people. He's not talking about serfs and peasants and ordinary fucking nobodies. There is another thing that may comfort you. Oh, wait, no, that was the first thing. Huh. There's sweat all over the pages. Must have received it. For which reason, I beg you, my entirely beloved, not to frighten yourself, nor be too uneasy at our absence. I was a little miffed. For wherever I am yours. And yet we must sometimes submit to our misfortunes. For whoever will struggle against fate is generally but so much the farther from gaining his end. Wherefore comfort yourself, and take courage, and avoid the pestilence as much as you can, for I hope shortly to make you sing La Renvoyée, the singing with happiness, because I'm back at court with him and his wife. And my sister, his ex-girlfriend. No more at present from lack of time, but that I wish you in my arms, that I might a little dispel your unreasonable thoughts. Written by the hand of him who is and always will be yours, HR, and he's written the word immutable around it. Yeah, he thinks that hooking up is his way out of arguments because he thinks I enjoy it that much. Like, it's not terrible. I haven't had better. I haven't had anyone. Definitely not Harry Percy. Whatever he says. But yeah. It's not awful. Like, I don't think producing the Son and Heir is going to be that difficult. So, the cause of my writing at this time, good sweetheart, is only to understand of your good health and prosperity, whereof to know I would be as glad as in manner mine own, praying God that, and it be his pleasure, to send us shortly together, for I promise you I long for it. I promise you he does. Me, pure as the snow, totally untouched. My sister Mary, Cosmo advice column. I know a thing or two. Howbeit, I trust it shall not be long so. And seeing my darling is absent, I can do no less than to send her some flesh representing my name, which is heart flesh for Henry. He sent me a heart. He sent me a deer, and he thinks the word heart is close enough to Henry, or it means his heart or something. He didn't just like send me a big thing of flesh. Prognosticating that hereafter, God willing, you may enjoy some of mine, which he pleased. I would I were now. Ooh. He wants me to enjoy his flesh. 400-pound mouth breathing ulcer covered syphilitic man with gout. No, he isn't. I mean, he's putting on a little weight in middle age, but he's still, he's still that tall redhead king. He's pretty good looking guy. I really hope he never gets wounded badly in a joust and can't exercise and gets super fat and gets gout and goes mentally insane in his head. That would be terrible. That would be. Well, I'd deal with it. Like I deal with everything. As touching your sister's matter, I have caused Walter Welts to write to my lord, my mind therein, whereby I trust that Eve shall not have the power to deceive Adam. For surely whatsoever it is said, it cannot so stand with his honour, but that he needs take her, his natural daughter, now in her extreme necessity. Mary's broke. Whatever. What else is new? No more to you at this time, mine own darling, but that with a wish I would we were together in evening. With the hand of yours, H.R. Oh my god, I know. His idea of flirting is to just like give you this dead-eyed stare from across the tilting yard, and then he kind of shambles over. Like, I don't know why his jackets are so big, but they're huge. He comes over in this massive jacket and just kind of leans down, and he's like, "How now, sweetheart?" Yeah, how now, Your Majesty? Agreed. England is not France. That's all I'm saying. So, oh yeah, this was back when the sweat was happening. Since your last letters, mine own darling. The King of England's own darling? Who could that be? Walter Welsh, Master Brown, Thomas Kerr, Graham of Burton, and John Cook, the apothecary, be fallen of the sweat in this house, and thank be God, all well recovered. So that, as yet, the plague is not fully ceased here, but I trust shortly it shall. Oh, he must be shitting himself. He's terrified of illness. By the mercy of God, the rest of us yet be well, and I trust shall pass it, either not to have it, or at the least as easily as the rest have done. It was not easy when I had it, by the way. As touching the matter of Wilton, okay, well, Wilton Abbey was one of the ones that we kind of asked Cardinal Wolsey to look into because I was shocked. The church in this country is so corrupt, and I've been telling him that, and he's just been, trying to look down my top, and I've been telling him about, okay, I know we're not supposed to talk about Martin Luther, but do you know priests are not even in the Bible? Masses, like paying for masses to get people out of purgatory, not in the Bible. Saints are not in the Bible. And, paying people to go and touch a bit of old bone that used to belong to some person, that's just nothing. That's not even a thing. So I was kind of shocked. Like, there's so much money going to the monasteries and the church and everything, and what do they do with it? Wolsey's shoes have rubies on them. That's all I'm saying. So I've been trying to get Henry to read some. I've been trying to get the King, His Majesty, to read some, just a few books. No, they aren't. There's a Bible in English so that anyone can read it. I mean, anyone who can read, And you can find all this stuff out for yourself. And there's a whole chapter about which guys are which other guys' dads, which I found kind of tedious, honestly. But there's lots of other stuff. Anyway. Oh, Thomas Cromwell. Yeah. I mean, he supports all of this because he hates Spain or whatever. He's really smart. He's a hard worker or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know about that guy. He seems to be like, we agree religiously, by which I mean we agree on matters of religion, but I don't know. He just doesn't like me. I don't like him either, but I think I'm slightly better at pretending. Anyway, so there's this place at Wilton, right? I just wanted him to look into it. So the king writes to me, as touching the matter of Wilton, my Lord Cardinal hath had the nuns before him and examined them, Mr. Bell being present, which hath certified me that, for a truth, she had confessed herself, which we would have had abbess. So this one was going to be the abbess of the convent. She confessed herself to have had 2 children by 2 sundry priests, and further since hath been kept by a servant of the Lord Brooke that was, and that not long ago. She was the girlfriend of a guy. She can't be an abbess. Wherefore I would not, for all the gold in the world, clog your conscience nor mine to make her ruler of a house which is of so ungodly demeanour. Nor I trust you would not, that neither for brother nor sister I should so disdain mine honour or conscience. Exactly. I mean, you can't have these people in charge of a religious house. If there are no monks and nuns in the Bible, but if you're going to have monks and nuns, have monks and nuns. Just live up to the vows that you made. We all have to do it. I'm going to have to do it pretty soon. I mean, yeah, there are hard parts in any marriage. Yes, even marriage with God. And as touching the prioress, or Dame Eleanor's eldest sister, though there is not any evident case proved against them, and that the prioress is so old that for many years she could not be as she was named. I'm loving that. I'm imagining her saying to the cardinal, "Oh, I'm so old, I haven't been a whore in years." Yet notwithstanding, to do you pleasure, I have done that neither of them shall have it, but that some other good and well-disposed woman shall have it, whereby the house shall be the better reformed, whereof I assure you it had much need, and God much the better served. As touching your abode at Hever, I'm back at Hever, do therein as best shall like you, for you best know what air doth best with you. But I would it were come thereto, if it please God, that neither of us need care for that, for I assure you I think it long. I think going to Hever is the best thing I can do every time. Because he always goes. If I knew what such a thing was, I would say that he goes bananas for me every time I go to Hever and just kind of ignore him a little bit. Oh, yeah, he's using a lot of words there, but he's not talking about how much he wants me to touch his flesh or whatever. He's actually involving me in matters of governance. So I'm really liking that. Like, we're actually talking and we get along really well when we're talking about, the state and religion, and it's just when he tries to put his hand down my top that things kind of. But every marriage is different. I hope mine will be different from his last one. Married for 20 years and one girl. Shit. Anyway, he also says, Such has fallen sick of the sweat. He was the old guy who brought the letters. And therefore I send you this bearer, because I think you long to hear tidings from us, as we do likewise from you. Written with the hand de votre seul, Henry Rex. Your very own King Henry. Yeah, mine. And his wife's. Still. I've been waiting for years, you know? Anyway. So, the legate's going to the Pope. It's really, really good. I'm so sick of waiting. I'm sick of Hever. I'm sick of Queen Catherine moping around the court and praying. And what's she going to pray for? A new uterus? It's not going to happen. I am. Thank you. Actually, like years and years ago, when I first came back to court, I was in a mask, like a masked play, and there were 6 of us, like the prettiest girls in the court, playing the virtues and like temperance, and I can't think of another virtue, but I played perseverance. Didn't know how right they were, but yeah, fucking tired of it. So he writes, the approach of the time for which I have so long waited rejoices me so much that it seems almost to have come already. I think he's come already. Paper sticky. However, the entire accomplishment cannot be till the 2 persons meet, which meeting is more desired by me than anything in this world. For what joy can be greater upon earth than to have the company of her who is dearest to me, knowing likewise that she does the same on her part, the thought of which gives me the greatest pleasure. I mean, I don't actually mind hanging out with him. Like I said, when we're talking politics and religion and governance, it's good. Like he's not a dumb guy, but I'm a woman, nothing changing that. He forgets I'm a baby machine, like for 0.5 of a second, and then but the point is, there are good times. I'm not dreading it, I can handle the other side of it. I can handle the mood swings. I can handle the self-pity. I can handle the, I don't know, paranoia, would you call it? He has been treating me like a capital P person. Not like a male person, but like an important person. And it's nice. And he's got no idea that this is what's changing my mind. Which is, you know what, whatever, I'm going to be Queen of England. Yeah, he's kind of a fuckboy. But when we're talking, it's actually kind of good. So maybe... Well, I mean, Catherine knew a lot about governance and stuff. I call her Catherine in private. Now I don't call her Queen Catherine. She knew a lot of that stuff because her mother was a queen in her own right. And her dad was a king in his own right. They each ruled half of Spain, and they married each other, and then they drove all the Muslims out, which seems really mean. I'm not really... kind of know what a Muslim is. I'm not sure. So Catherine was in charge when Henry was in war in France, and he won like a tiny battle that didn't change anything, and she won a big battle against the Scottish, and yeah, he didn't like that. So if he ever makes me regent, I'm just going to make sure to win small battles. But yeah, so he's had an educated wife before. He'll be fine. Then again, her nephew is the Holy Roman Emperor, and I have no influential family. But I will have influential family when I have the Prince of Wales, my little boy. He will be my influential family. And so will his 18 brothers. Okay, not 18. Blah, blah, blah. Two persons meeting. I love her so much. Judge what an effect the presence of that person must have on me, whose absence has grieved my heart more than either words or writing can express, and which nothing can cure, but that begging you, my mistress, to tell your father from me that I desire him to hasten the time appointed by 2 days, that he may be at court before the old term, or at farthest on the day prefixed. For otherwise I shall think he will not do the lover's turn, as he said he would, nor answer my expectation. He's threatening my dad a little bit, but he just wants everything to happen now, you know? No more at present for lack of time, hoping shortly that by word of mouth I shall tell you the rest of the sufferings endured by me from your absence. He will too. Written by the hand of that secretary who wishes himself at this moment privately with you, and who is, and always will be, your loyal and most assured servant, H.R. And in between H.R. is A.B., and in between that is no other Sikh. Sounds better in French. But then everything sounds better in French, doesn't it? If only there was some kind of playwright with the kind of blazing genius that a comet might have across the sky to make English the language of ultimate expression. It is kind of sweet. He's talking more about being with me, like talking with me and being with me, and less about the other thing. Okay, so still not going back to court. Just for a little bit. Not as much of the flesh talk. Yeah, exactly. We're starting to get to know each other as people. And I mean, we have got the rest of our lives to do that, but it's nice to know that he is thinking of me as a person already. I mean, most women don't get that. So he writes, Darling, again, I heartily recommend me to you, ascertaining you that I am not a little perplexed with such things as your brother shall on my part declare unto you, and to whom I pray you give full credence, for it were too long to write. It's just some private shit that he told George by word of mouth and told him to tell me. You're lucky I'm still reading these letters to you. I'm not telling you everything. Ugh. I know, I'm sorry. I found one of the good ones. What can I say? I'm lucky. I thought of my motto for when I'm queen. The most happy. Oh, it's going to be so fucking cool. Can't wait. Yeah, darling, some private shit George is going to say to you. In my last letters, I writ to you that I trusted shortly to see you, which is better known at London than with any that is about me, whereof I not a little marvel. But lack of discreet handling must needs be the cause thereof. I've got to stay at Hever at the moment because people are talking. They're saying some vile shit, honestly. But you know what? It's fine. I've set my course, I am sailing that ship now. I'm going to do it. I had another motto while I'm waiting, which is Et ainsi sera, grogne qui grogne. It will be so, no matter who grumbles about it. Bet you all you like, haters. I'm going to do it. Discreet handling, blah, blah. No more to you at this time, but that I trust shortly our meetings shall not depend upon other men's light handlings, but upon our own. He wants to handle me lightly. Lightly. Written by the hand of him that longeth to be yours, H.R. Okay, this one's a little bit saucy, so I'm not blushing. I'm just like, it's a little bit. But I'm going to read it to you anyway because I have to tell somebody. Okay, so he writes, the King of England writes, mine own sweetheart, this shall be to advertise you of the great alongness that I find here since your departing. For I assure you, methinketh the time longer since your departing now last than I was wont to do a whole fortnight. I think your kindness and my fervency of love causeth it. For otherwise I would not have thought it possible that for so little a while it should have grieved me. But now that I am coming towards you, methinketh my pains be half removed, and also I am right well comforted, insomuch that my book maketh substantially for my matter. He's writing a whole book about why Catherine was married to his brother before him, and so they were never actually married, so he doesn't have to get a divorce. He's just like single. He's writing a whole book about it. In looking whereof I've spent above 4 hours this day, which causeth me now to write the shorter letter to you at this time because of some pain in my head. He studied so hard, he got a headache. Oh, hi Josh. Come back and watch this in some way that I don't understand because it's history times. It's probably around 1529 at this point. He's some pain in my head. He's got a headache. Wishing myself, especially an evening, in my sweetheart's arms, whose pretty duckies I trust shortly to kiss. That's what he calls my tits. He calls them my duckies. Like, it's not funny, but it kind of is. Written by the hand of him that was, is, and shall be yours, by his own will, Henricus Rex, King of fucking England. He calls them my pretty duckies. I'm just like, oh my god, call them anything else. But I kind of think it's cute. Okay, so he writes again because we're, apart. Darling, as he starts his letters to me now, though I have scant leisure, yet remembering my promise, I thought it convenient to certify you briefly in what case our affairs stand. It's all going ahead. It's actually going to happen. As touching a lodging for you, we have got one by my Lord Cardinal's means, the like whereof could not have been found hereabouts for all causes, as this bearer shall more show you. I'm getting better lodgings than the Queen at this point. It is crazy. I gotta stop calling her the Queen. She's the Dowager Princess of Wales. She was married to his brother died. They thought they were married, but they weren't. It was a hideous lie. He's single. He's engaged to moi. And the Queen. Yeah, lodgings. So the Cardinal had to find me lodgings. It was hilarious. As touching our other affairs, I assure you there can be no more done, nor more diligence used, nor all manner of dangers better both foreseen and provided for, so that I trust it shall be hereafter to both our comforts. The specialities whereof were both too long to be written, and hardly by messenger to be declared. I wish you would tell me what exactly is going on, but he doesn't like. Oh, it's perfectly proper, actually, Jake, because we're engaged. Engaged to be Queen of England. King and Queen of England. Wherefore, till you repair hither, I keep something in store, trusting it shall not be long to. For I have caused my lord your father to make his provisions with speed, and thus for lack of time, darling, I make an end of my letter, written with the hand of him which I would were yours, H.R. So I really wanted to know what was up. So he writes again, the reasonable request of your last letter, with the pleasure also that I take to know them true, causeth me to send you these news. I wrote how I wanted to know what was going on, and I also wrote some stuff about, quack, quack, my duckies are waiting. I can't remember what I wrote. It was something really nice. The legate which we most desire arrived at Paris on Sunday or Monday last past, so that I trust by next Monday to hear of his arrival at Calais. And then I trust within a while after to enjoy that which I have so long longed for, to God's pleasure and our both comforts. He's talking about fucking. No more to you at this present, mine own darling, for lack of time, but that I would you were in mine arms, or I in yours, for I think it long since I kissed you. King of England. Me. Written after the killing of a hart at 11 of the clock, minding with God's grace tomorrow mightily timely to kill another, by the hand which I trust shortly shall be yours. Henry Rex. He loves hunting. There's no omens about killing in a love letter. It's ridiculous. He just loves to hunt. Well, the legate's back. Honestly, I got kind of... I was on the fucking rag, okay? I felt like I was on the fucking rag all the time. I was just so sick of waiting. I was sick of Heaver. I was sick of everybody. I was sick of him writing, oh, my sweetheart, it'll come to pass, it'll blah, blah, blah. And I told him, I said, I could have been married by this time. And instead, everybody in Europe is calling me a whore and thinks we're fucking. I have to be the most virtuous whore in Christendom. My ladies have to be above reproach. I'm so tired. And it's never going to happen. But he calmed me down and he was like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm definitely going to make it happen. And I was like, what if the Pope says no? Are you going to read that book I gave you about how, historically the king has been the authority in England and not the Pope, who, Luther calls him the Bishop of Rome, and I do too, but only sometimes to the king. He kind of changes his mind on that. So yeah, I did throw a little bit of a tantrum. I think I'm entitled. So he calmed me down and everything, and oh, they really do. And it's like, yeah, we do some stuff. It's been 7 years. We do some stuff, Not that. I know. I could have married somebody else. I mean, I wouldn't be Queen of England. I wouldn't be Duchess of Northumberland. But it feels like wasted time for something that's never going to happen. But he was really good about it. Like, he was so patient. He talked me down, and I really think this is going to work. So he wrote a letter after we made up to inform you with what joy it is to me to understand of your conformableness with reason, and of the suppressing of your inutile and vain thoughts with the bridle of reason. I assure you, all the good in this world could not counterpoise for my satisfaction the knowledge and certainty thereof, whereof, good sweetheart, continue the same, not only in this, but in all your doings hereafter. For thereby shall come, both to you and me, the greatest quietness that may be in this world. We essentially got re-engaged. We made all these promises. It was so lame. Like, I'm not going to tell you about it, but it was kind of cute. The cause why the bearer stays so long is the business I have had to dress up gear for you, and which I trust ere long to cause you occupy, as I trust to occupy yours, which shall be recompense enough to me for all my pains and labour. The unfeigned sickness of the well-willing legate doth somewhat retard his access to your person. The legate got sick, that's the travel. But I trust verily, when God shall send him health, he will with diligence recompense his demur. For I know well where he hath said, touching the saying in Brewitt that he is thought imperial, that shall be well known in this matter, he is not imperial. And thus, for lack of time, sweetheart, farewell. Written with the hand which fain would be yours, and so is the heart, Henry Rex. We were worried that the legate was on the side of the Holy Roman Emperor, Catherine's nephew, but Henry says he's not. And he says it's going to happen soon. So those were the love letters of Henry VIII to me. And Boleyn, soon to be, fucking Queen of England. Seven years. I'm going to live until I'm 100. And I am going to be queen the entire time. All these fuckers calling me a whore, they're going to bow. All these Spaniards, they're going to bow. Princess Mary, she's going to stop giving me that bitch look. And my son is going to be so beautiful. He's going to have red hair, just like his dad. But hopefully a huge dick. Or at least a normal-sized one. So thank you guys so much for coming and listening to my letters and all the rambling about them. And probably about time for me to take my monthly bath, whether I need it or not, as I hope my daughter Elizabeth will someday genuinely actually say. She took a bath every month, whether she needed it or no. Thank you guys so much for being here. This was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed having a chance to use the costume. It's good, isn't it? Thank you. I hope it helps some kind of school child to learn something. It probably won't, because why would it? Getting ahead and beheading, a love story. I mean, he's not going to behead me. No one's ever murdered their queen before. Definitely not with a trial and execution. That's unthinkable. Only someone completely mental would do that. Yeah, no. Aw. You might want to edit out some of the parts about the duckies. How good was that? Thank you guys so much. This is nearly 2 hours long. Oh my god. Bye-bye from History Times. Wish me luck.